Man, those brakes, they sound like the Mad Tea Party ones.
Oh, backseat drivers, huh?
How is this even happening? We're inside.
Oh, wow. I feel like a new bike.
Yes, perfect.
If he speaks, we have to pay more. We have a very special treat for you now. A good friend of the show, former Imagineer Jim Scholl is here. Jim, it's good to see you again.
It's good to be seen.
We dropped the shaker.
Oh, no.
You sure we're going the right way? That sign says Thailand over there.
This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks around the world. Here now the news for March 10th, 2023. The Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger touched on Disney parks during a question and answer session at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference. Iger emphasized that reducing crowding was an important part of improving the guest experience, alluding to the Park Pass reservation system. Quote, "It's tempting to let more and more people in," he said, "but if the guest satisfaction level is going down because of crowding, that doesn't work. We had to figure out how we reduce crowding, but maintain, obviously, our profitability, and we did that well." Acknowledging the controversy surrounding Park Passes, Iger added, "But we have to be careful about that as well, because in doing that, we actually end up increasing the price or putting features into your pricing that are viewed by some consumers perhaps as being a little too aggressive, and that's what we're being careful about." He went on to talk about how much growth is possible to Disney parks around the world, including in California, bringing up the new Avatar experience that he announced on the recent earnings call. "As we continue to invest in these businesses," Iger said, which is essentially building out new capacity or new attractions, it gives us the ability to, one, service more people. The more attractions you have, obviously the more people have to do. We could also mine our IP more effectively. "Those are really important," he continued, "because those franchises that we do well with in film and television are truly leverageable at the parks level, as we learned with Star Wars investments that we've made, the Avatar investment we made in Florida, and the Toy Story investments that we've made. And that creates growth for us because it increases capacity and improves our marketability." Iger said that while they obviously don't have endless IP, they do have plenty to still take advantage of, which leads to growth opportunities. Quote, "And if you price all of that right and market it well," he said, "and manage your costs so that you can maintain pretty decent margins, a business that, obviously we're betting on, I would bet on." So this is interesting. Of course, we already alluded to the fact that the Avatar expansion at Disneyland is probably a land, and Disney has now alluded more so that it's that, even though they keep calling it an Avatar experience, and everyone thought it was going to be that traveling display that they're doing in some places. But it's clearly going to be an attraction and some sort of land, and we know there's more coming for sure, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. The first meeting of the board of the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, previously the Reedy Creek Improvement District, took place this week. It took place on March 8th at the B Resort and Spa near Disney Springs. Orlando Business Journal shared insights from the meeting, including the suggestion that the cities of Bay Lake and Lake Buena Vista be dissolved. The new board consists of Chairman Martin Garcia, Clearwater attorney Brian Angst Jr., Winter Park attorney Michael A. Sasso, Moms for Liberty co-founder Bridget Ziegler, and CEO of The Gathering, Ron Penn. Board members are required to be Florida residents who have not worked in the theme park industry within the past 3 years. And I think based on that list, none of them have worked in the theme park industry, maybe ever. The meeting began with public comments, including from many employees of Reedy Creek Fire Department and the family members of first responders lost in the line of duty. They spoke about improving access to resources needed to keep up with the safety needs. RCID firefighters have supported the state takeover following years of reporting inadequate staffing and broken down fire trucks. During the meeting, Angst said of Bay Lake and Lake Buena Vista, whether or not these two cities are legally necessary is an important question. He said that for now, he wants the district to oversee the law enforcement contracts of those cities or ensure they cannot supersede the district's building codes and land planning powers. Ziegler said she would like to see COVID-19 restrictions like masks and vaccines made similar to statewide law, which prohibits mask and vaccine requirements. She did not share specifics of what she meant, and Walt Disney World Resort does not currently require masks or vaccinations for guests. It's important to note that. Quote, finding the proper balance, Ziegler said, I am cognizant of that. I believe the role of government is to be limited. I believe that also no corporation should have benefits over private citizens. Garcia said that the new board will institute many changes, but that this does not mean that the previous board did a bad job, only that it was for different management. Quote, our constituency group is everyone who works and plays in the district and lives in the state of Florida. You all didn't elect us, but the people of Florida elected a governor who appointed us. There will be a broader representation. Garcia stressed that there is more to learn, saying, quote, we are, as Mickey would say, all ears at this time. The rebranding of the district was also discussed, and District Administrator John Class Jr. Said the process is ongoing, but there is not yet a timeline for the exact rollout of the rebrand, the hundreds of vehicles, trash cans, manhole covers, and more they have to. Class also said the rating on the ad valorem in district's bonds had returned to what it was prior to the recent legislation. Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro is hopeful about the new board, and Walt Disney World President Jeff Valley previously said they are ready to work with the board. Two things I want to talk about. First of all, I understand if there are necessities in dissolving Bay Lake and other city, Lake Buena Vista, simply to figure out things with emergency services, I get that. If it's really just to continue to sort of prove a point, then let's not do that. But the thing that really strikes me here is the mask thing, because I don't know what knowledge this woman has of the board she's on and what she oversees, but there are zero mask and vaccine regulations in either Bay Lake nor Lake Buena Vista. So I don't know what she's going on about, because they don't exist. So we're off to a great start. It's going well. We'll see what happens. But that, I mean, people raising concerns about things that aren't real makes me somewhat concerned. Let me know in the comments how you feel. FDOT, the Florida Department of Transportation, has chosen to cancel the planned on-ramp to cross over the interstate to gain entrance to the Disney Springs area, all in favor of another option to route traffic and hopefully alleviate some of the congestion in the area and on I-4. With more than 58 million visitors to the Walt Disney World Resort each year and a large number of those arriving in a vehicle, the traffic and congestion on I-4 can be very troublesome at times. It often causes backed up traffic that can trap travelers and locals for long periods and cause frustrations for those trying to get to and from their destinations. The plan was to connect I-4 and State Route 535 with a flyover on-ramp that would have crossed the interstate for easier access to Hotel Plaza Boulevard, the resorts, the Walt Disney World Resort in total as well. The proposal was part of improving the I-4 access to the Lake Buena Vista area. FDOT's original arrangements were to connect the two with an interchange that would avoid additional traffic and create less of a backup on State Route 535 northbound for those looking to turn onto Hotel Plaza Boulevard, which numerous people use daily. The project was given the green light by FDOT 2 years ago, and when the designs were submitted, the area in which it was to be constructed was gained by the state to construct the ramp was part of the Crossroads area, a popular spot for visitors over the last 30 years or so in the Walt Disney World area. That is all gone. It's been bulldozed. It's history, all for this thing that didn't get built now. But FDOT will be using the land to construct a loop ramp that will connect State Route 535 to westbound I-4. The new project will also work to realign the I-4 westbound entrance ramp, create a longer I-4 westbound exit ramp, and build an express lane on I-4 dubbed the Tube. FDOT says that despite the changes to the project, the new design will help prevent the current backups that will in turn help with the return on investment in the program. The hope is that the new plan satisfies the needs of not only the local traffic, but also the guests and those who are receiving them. The construction of the new layout is expected to begin before the end of the current year. Currently, there is no estimated time for the completion of the future project. I don't know, as someone who lives here, For me, the traffic problem seems to be eastbound. That exit eastbound, the opposite side of where Disney Springs is, seems to be a majority of the traffic. I know there's some congestion getting onto I-4 West, but not a whole lot. Most of the day you can get on I-4 West pretty easily. I-4 West problems are generally down by the Champions Gate area, which is well clear of the tourist corridor. So I don't completely understand this plan, but I'm not a city planner. I don't know these things. Based on things I've seen driving these roads, I don't know that this is going to be a huge help, but we'll see. Through the sale of limited edition commemorative 50th anniversary license plates, the Walt Disney World Resort has been able to raise more than $1.5 million for Make-A-Wish of Central and Northern Florida. The specialty iridescent license plates were first announced as Walt Disney World's first ever specialty license plate in March of 2021. The commemorative design features the iridescent 50th anniversary castle logo on a majestic royal blue background. Inspired by the color scheme of Cinderella Castle, this magical plate features the Walt Disney World logo displayed at the bottom of the plate and Florida printed at the top in gold. More than 3,500 of the 50th anniversary plates were sold in less than a week of pre-sales, and since sales of the commemorative plate went live, more than 30,000 Florida drivers have begun sporting the 50th anniversary license plate. Disney has donated again 100% of the $1.5 million in proceeds to date to Make-A-Wish. Florida car owners still have a chance to get the specialty 50th anniversary plate through their local county tax collectors' offices, in person or online, or at license plate agencies or DMVs across the state of Florida. A fresh new design featuring Cinderella Castle will replace the 50th anniversary edition this summer, but Walt Disney World will continue to donate all proceeds to Make-A-Wish. That's great. Let's have Walt Disney World license plates forever. Should be a thing. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, The Vacationeer, the engineers of your next magical vacation. Sit back and let their team of vacation planning experts craft your family's next magical Disney trip. The best part is their services are free. Visit www.nt.travel for details. After riding TRON Lightcycle Run this week at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, Disney Parks Experiences and Products Chairman Josh D'Amaro declared that the attraction is an exciting and ambitious start to a transformative future of attractions yet to come. In an interview with the Orlando Business Journal, D'Amaro shared some thoughts on his ride aboard Walt Disney World's newest roller coaster and how the attraction will mark the start of a series of ambitious projects across Disney parks. Quote, TRON is spectacular, and adding something of this size and scope to the most visited theme park in the world is pretty ambitious and incredible. You see guests walking off that experience, the look on their faces, and it adds to the whole experience we offer here. But there's no end. TRON is the tip of the iceberg of what's coming. While TRON Lightcycle Run will be the next attraction to open to guests at Walt Disney World, it won't be long before other attractions follow suit. Also in Magic Kingdom, Splash Mountain is currently under construction as part of its retheming as Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which will open in late 2024. As well, a Journey of Water inspired by Moana, a walkthrough attraction, is expected to open later this year in World Nature in the fall, in fact. It will feature a 16-foot tall statue of Te Fiti. D'Amaro points to a team of Disney Imagineers and cast members that are ready to continue the progress that's being made in introducing new experiences to Walt Disney World guests in the coming years. Their perseverance, particularly seen throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, seems to be just as strong when looking to the future. You know, Josh, if you believe that, you should give them more money. Why don't we back up the things we say? Anyway. Quote, our Imagineers, our entire team, are incredibly ambitious about the experience here and how it will continue to grow and evolve. You've seen it come to life with the 50th anniversary coming out of the pandemic and how we stood right back up and brought back all of the things people love and added new things. You have seen it at EPCOT. It's totally transforming, and that will continue to transform. Another quick thing I got to touch on there. I would like to know where is Streetmosphere at Disney's Hollywood Studios? I know a number of those people are still waiting to come back. That is an offering that has existed since opening day in 1989. Still no word on that. The Citizens of Main Street, that's not back either. The Voyage of the Little Mermaid building is still sealed off. You've made no comment as to if that's coming back or if that's gone forever. A number of stores at Hollywood Studios still remain shuttered as well. There's plenty of stuff still not back yet. So I'm just curious. We're saying everything's back. Everything's not back yet. Entertainment in Pandora is still missing, right? The drum, you move the drum circle to the float, the boat thing. But that's not back in Pandora, nor has the mech suit entertainment thing returned to Pandora either. These are just off the top of my head. I didn't come in prepared for this argument. I'm sure if I came prepared, I could probably talk for a good several minutes on what is still missing, but regardless. The annual D23 Expo held in 2022 revealed a number of ambitious Disney Parks projects under consideration, including lands based on Coco, Encanto, and the Disney villains for Magic Kingdom, and of course, Zootopia and Moana at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And tomorrow points to an eagerness from the Walt Disney Company to deliver. Quote, "We are just getting started," said the Disney Parks chairman. I certainly hope so. I hope very soon we get confirmation that any of those projects are going to move forward, because I think we need it. I think we need it for sure. And I'd love to hear about these projects that still aren't brought back that no one wants to talk about. When TRON Lightcycle Run opens to the public on April 4th, it'll require a virtual queue to access the ride, but Disney has now confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind will still use the virtual queue system at that time. This is not completely unexpected, as the attractions are at different Walt Disney World theme parks. However, there have been periods since the system was implemented where no rides required the use of a virtual queue. It's interesting that this will be, there was a short period another time where more than one ride required virtual queue, but it'll be interesting that there'll be so many days of your Walt Disney World trip where you got to get up at 7 a.m. and do this. Of course, guests can join the virtual queue via the My Disney Experience app, and when they join, they are assigned a boarding group and told an approximate return time. When the boarding group is called in the My Disney Experience app, guests can report to the attraction within the provided time frame to ride it. Guests may need to still wait in a physical queue at the attraction, of course, and you know all of this if you've been through the virtual queue process. But the demand for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind has been lessening and waning now that the ride has been open for nearly a year. It's easier for guests to obtain that virtual queue boarding group. Some guests have begun to speculate that it would stop using the system since it is easier now, but they're not going to do that. Virtual queue access for TRON will open at 7 a.m. each day. Guests do not have to be in the park at that time. The park won't be open, but they do have to have a Magic Kingdom Park Pass reservation. At 1 p.m., virtual queue access will open again, but guests must be in the park at this point. The virtual queue will reopen again at 6 p.m. on evenings where there are extended evening hours for deluxe resort guests. Earlier this week, Impressions de France in the France Pavilion of EPCOT was suddenly reduced to just a half hour of showtime in the morning, but thankfully the show's nighttime hours are back. Who could have predicted this? We certainly didn't talk about this 24 hours ago. Guests can now catch Impressions de France at the Place du Cinéma between 9 a.m. Or 8:30 a.m. for those with early entry, up until 9:30 a.m. in total in the morning as well. They have returned to those 7 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. performances in the evening. The Beauty and the Beast sing-along is also shown at the venue, with showtimes from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. The new Disney Vacation Club wing under construction at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort is getting much taller. The first vertical structure was erected a few weeks ago with multiple elevator shafts soon becoming clear, but now we can see the windows of future guest rooms lining the side of the structure facing the lagoon, and a crane towers over the building. The elevator shaft has been expanded upwards another few stories, and the final building will be even taller than this. The concrete framework of a future wall is opposing the guest room windows. And from the Walt Disney World monorail, we took a look at the other side of the structure. There are openings between the elevator banks on the second and third stories, possibly for windows. And on the ground, the foundation work continues with short concrete walls and wood planks. And caution tape wraps around the section right next to the structure. The new wing sits right on the beach where the Luau Cove used to be located. And concept art for the Vacation Club wing, you're looking at that right now, is available. It's projected to open in late 2024. Today's episode of News Today is brought to you by DVC Resale Market. You could save around 50% off of a Disney Vacation Club contract when you purchase it through DVC Resale Market. Currently, they have their red hot deals going on, which is 10% lower than market value, and prices are what they were 4 to 5 years ago, so this is a buyer's market, and they suggest taking advantage of it. All of their employees are previous cast members, so you still get that Disney service and experience, and it's the best way to purchase a DVC contract if you want to save thousands of dollars. You can click the link in our description for more details on the DVC Resale Market. That's how I became a member. I bought my Polynesian contract, and it was about half off of what it should have been. So it's the cheapest way to get in. runDisney has shared a first look at the 2023 Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend race themes of Alice in Wonderland, Beauty and the Beast, Encanto, and Figment. Oh boy. For the 5K racers, you can prepare yourselves for a spin around EPCOT with Alice the Mad Hatter and all of their Wonderland friends from Walt Disney Animation Studios' Alice in Wonderland during the 5K for Wine and Dine. Enjoy a 3.1-mile Tea Party adventure as you make a mad dash to the finish line and celebrate a very merry birthday with your newly earned finisher medal. For the 10K, be our racing guest, Disney says, and put our 6.2-mile course to the test as the dining room proudly presents the Wine and Dine 10K. Set out on a race day adventure in the Great Wide Somewhere with Lumiere, Cogsworth, and the other Enchanted Castle residents from Disney Animation's Beauty and the Beast. For the half marathon, you can get ready for a fantastical and magical 13.1-mile journey through the Walt Disney World Resort. Participants are invited to pull up a chair at the family table as they join Mirabelle and the rest of the family Madrigal from Disney Animation's Academy Award-winning Encanto to discover that when they push through the surface pressure, there's no limit to what they can do. Then there is the two-course challenge, which is my problem. Let your imagination and endurance run wild as you head to Figment's open house for a visit into his topsy-turvy kitchen during the 2023 Disney two-course challenge. Participants will need just one spark of inspiration to complete both the Wine and Dine 10K and the half marathon for a total of 19.3 miles and earn a specialty challenge medal featuring Figment. The 2023 Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend is November 2nd through the 5th. Club Run Disney registration opens on March 14th. General registration opens on March 21st. And virtual race registration opens on March 24th. These will all open at 10 a.m. Eastern. So there's a Figment medal. And it's not only for the 10K or a half marathon, it's for both. And so my staff has been asking if I'm going to do this. And as of right now, I've said if we can get into the registration, I will start training and I will attempt to run a 10K and a half marathon back to back, all simply because there is a Figment medal. That's where we're at. So we'll see if we get me registered. I'm going to try. I have a small complaint to make. I love that Figment's featured. He's with a bunch of food with faces, anthropomorphic food. This isn't from anything. These are like original characters. Do you guys know that in the history of EPCOT, you have anthropomorphic food? They exist. In fact, you had two different attractions. You could have taken anthropomorphic food from. You had Kitchen Cabaret, which has a banana with a face, by the way, which you've drawn a new one. And you also had Food Rocks, and you didn't put either of those with Figment. You just drew new food with faces. I'm so confused by this idea. But either way, we will see if I'm forced to run my first Run Disney event. Oh boy. A special limited time Coca-Cola Freestyle flavor will be available at Disneyland and Walt Disney World Resort soon to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Hulu. Hulu turns 15 on March 12th, and the streaming service has teamed up with Coca-Cola to debut Hulu Fanta Surprise, a green drink that combines sweet lime and ginger. Hulu Fanta Surprise will be available at Coke Freestyle machines from March 12th through April 30th at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And coincidentally, the green drink's availability coincides with St. Patrick's Day on March 17th. Of course, there's not a lot of Freestyle machines at either resort, so you're going to have to hunt a little bit. I think like Port Orleans has Freestyle, Caribbean Beach. It's no parks, right? I don't know if there's a park location, but anyway. Disney Cruise Line sailings will begin visiting Lighthouse Point, a new private Disney destination on the island of Eleuthera in the Bahamas in the summer of 2024. Created in close collaboration with local artists and advisors, the vibrant island retreat at Lighthouse Point will be a unique celebration of Bahamian culture brought to life with the quality and service of a Disney vacation. When guests arrive at Lighthouse Point, they'll be greeted by distinctive sweeping architecture in bright saturated hues, a bold style inspired by nature and created in partnership with local artists. The curvilinear buildings will at first appear as Bahamian shells scattered along the shoreline, and upon closer inspection, guests will discover artistic expressions of the native flora and fauna of the Bahamas and the pageantry and history of Junkanoo parades. And throughout the destination, references to playful folklore characters will evoke the warmth and charm of the local culture. Respect for the environment is at the heart of the design. At least 90% of the destination's electricity needs will be met by an on-site solar array, and the pier was designed to avoid the need for dredging, and the elevated walkways will help limit impact on the landscape. Visitors to Lighthouse Point will have the opportunity to be surrounded by the wonders of nature and get a glimpse into the efforts taking place to conserve wildlife and the unique island habitats. And families will enjoy a day of fun in the sun as they relax on pristine beaches, embark on active adventures, and discover the magic of Bahamian storytelling alongside favorite Disney characters. Much like Disney's cruise ships and private island of Castaway Cay, Lighthouse Point will offer activities and areas for every age group. Families can relax and play along white sandy beaches and turquoise waters at the expansive Family Beach on the east side of the island. This will be centrally located near market-style dining, recreation, and other amenities. A Bahamian art and culture pavilion featuring special programs and local artists will provide visitors to Lighthouse Point opportunities to learn and celebrate the traditions and natural beauty of the Bahamas. A brightly colored interactive family water play area will include 2 slides, water drums, fountains, and more, along with a dedicated space for toddlers. North of the family area will be an adult-exclusive beach, a glorious stretch of sun-drenched serenity, complete with a dedicated dining area for convenient access to food and drinks throughout the day, plus 6 private cabanas available by reservation. Children ages 3 to 12 will splash and play at a themed kids club under the care of highly trained Disney Cruise Line counselors. It'll include a splash pad inspired by favorite undersea creatures from Walt Disney Animation Studios' The Little Mermaid, plenty of shade, and a dedicated dining area as well. Set away from the activity of the main family area, a peaceful beach along the southwestern shore will be lined with 20 premium family cabanas available to rent, including 4 double cabanas that accommodate larger groups and offer massage services. Additional recreation activities will be available for kids and kids at heart, including a covered gaming pavilion, a volleyball court, and a Gaga ball pit, watercrafts and bicycle rentals, nature trails for hiking and biking, and more. And a collection of new port adventures developed in partnership with local tour operators will take guests beyond Lighthouse Point to explore the rich culture and breathtaking beauty of Eleuthera. Disney's new island destination is being thoughtfully designed to provide a hassle-free experience for families, including complimentary beach essentials like towels, chairs, and umbrellas, and lunch, and convenient tram transportation. Lighthouse Point will be open for guests again on select sailings beginning the summer of 2024. More details will be provided at a later date. Very excited about this. As Japan moves to shed the last of its COVID-19 protocols ahead of the May 8th reclassification of the virus to a level of least concern, Tokyo Disney Resort has officially announced that everyone may take off their mask while at both Disneyland and Disney Sea starting next week. Starting March 13th, in line with the Japanese government's updated guidelines towards masking, guests visiting Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea may choose whether or not to wear a face mask while visiting the park, both indoors and outside. Currently, the park only allows guests to not wear masks while outdoors, except while viewing entertainment, during which masks are required. Unlike at Universal Studios Japan, this rule change will also apply to cast members, who will be allowed to perform all duties without a mask on stage starting March 13th. Following this revision, Shanghai Disneyland will be the last park of the Disney parks on Earth to have mask requirements, which require guests to wear a mask while indoors or viewing entertainment. Hong Kong Disneyland, of course, removed theirs on March 1st in line with the city lifting the long-held indoor and outdoor mask mandates. We may be reaching the end of the necessity of masks. What a time. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.